Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, August 25th, 2025. It was a beautiful day today. I had the garage doors open and I've shifted gears, so to speak. So I am back on the Fangold Fastback. Currently, there's some things I need to deal with the Cobra Jet. That's set aside. I'm not going to really talk more about that too much, but there's some things I need to take care of with that. So I'm going to address those things down the road, but I'm going to get back on the Cobra Jet. I need to get some fabrication done. I need to get this thing together and start assembling parts. So that's why you see it up here right behind me, and I'm pretty excited about it. You know, this car was started early in the year, and then I shifted away from it when the weather got better for the Cobra Jet stuff, and now I'm going back to this, and I really am excited about it because y'all know that I like to weld, I like to fabricate, I like to build, and this is all of that. So that's where I'm at. I hope everybody had a good week or a good weekend, I should say, and hopefully the weather continues to be nice for all of us. I know that fall is coming. You know, we're running out of summer months, so to speak, and that's okay. Currently, it's like 79 degrees here, and it's been really nice. So hopefully, I can keep open up the garage door and get to keep the air flowing and enjoy the vibes. Tonight is a little bit different too because I'm experimenting, and I say experimenting. I'm kind of uh, at a point in my life where I need hearing help. Let's put it that way. So I now have. I know it's hard to see them. I got hearing aids today. I probably needed hearing aids for over 10 or 15 years, and just kept avoiding it, putting it off, and it's beginning to the point where I can't hear my grandkids. Uh, I can't hear my wife quite often, which everybody's like, yeah, well, you're not listening. But now I'm experiencing sounds that I haven't heard in a long, long time. I got these this morning. I arrived here. This is through the VA, thankfully. I'm very thankful for them. And I got out of my truck and I was like, where did all these birds come from? And crickets and cicadas. And I'm like, is it always this loud? Because I couldn't hear any of that stuff before. Maybe a occasional bird or something, but it was like I had a whole zoo going on. I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy. I haven't heard these sounds in a very long time. So right now I'm experimenting with it with understanding my own vocal, my own voice. Um, Apparently, there's your brain disconnects from sounds, and as you start to learn these sounds again, um, your your brain has to process them. So it's a little bit different for me to hear myself talk, and hopefully I can not continue doing this. I have a little bit of an echo, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm very happy to have them, and I'm just amazed at the sounds that I'm hearing now. So pretty cool. Uh, Tonight, as always, we're going to talk about classic cars. We may talk about Mustangs and whatever, just anything that anybody wants to talk about. If you would, hit the like and thumbs up button, notification, share the video, share this link, whatever. And as you continue to watch my videos, do that with them as well. Hit the like, leave a comment. I've been getting a lot of good feedback. I know I re-edited about 5 videos from the Brooklyn Pony Project. And the reason for that was um, I really needed some content because I knew I was going out of town last week. And I also was looking at the time. So, like, my first video on that was a very short video. And then the ones after that weren't very long either. And I know YouTube likes longer videos. And I decided, well, I'll just edit 5 of these together. And it ended up being just over an hour. And I may do that even now. I may make condensed versions of those as well. And continue to post them in some sort. I know I posted some stuff like that on Patreon. I know that my patrons like to see that because there's no commercials, there's no, you don't have to click and bypass anything. So that's very beneficial for them on that side of things. So tonight, let's see who's in first. And Rick Stevenson, one of my favorites. Wow, that's a loud bell. Rick's here, so I get to drink some coffee. Rick is my coffee pimp. I'm surprised. I didn't realize that bell is that loud. Rick Gain, hello all. Let's get in some good car talk. Hit the like and give Barry a thumbs up. Yes. I didn't anticipate that bell to be that loud or that ring that long. That's it's all new. Yay. It's like I hear I can hear my mini split now. I can hear it running. I'm like, wow, that does make some noise. Dave Tyson, good evening all. Evening, Dave. I have to adjust my bell now. Ed Cucciarella, hello all. Hello, Ed. Let me turn my volume down. See if that helps me. I can control the volume input. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Okay. It's a whole new world. Terry Keithley, good evening, everyone in Barrie. Please hit the thumbs up and like button. Thank you kindly, Terry and Betty and the cats. Thank you to all of you. TJ, let's hear Barry's thoughts on Mustangs this evening. Hello, everyone from the Field of Mustang Dreams, TJ in East Dublin, Georgia. Welcome, TJ. Dave Conville, hello, everybody. Hello, Dave. Hey, Matco, man. Hello, everyone. Finally, after a few crazy weeks, I got back working on Strutter, my 66 Fastback that I've owned since high school. Okay, that's awesome. Mute the bell. Glad to hear that. Troy Jessup, greetings from coastal Georgia, and welcome back, Barry. Time to impart some of that Joe Daddy knowledge on all of us. On us, sorry. Yes, thank you, Troy. Rusty's Restoration, hello all, and Barry from southern Indiana. Sure was a beautiful day today. 70 degrees and sunny. Give Barry a thumbs up. Please do. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Mark, Black GTX. Good evening, everyone. Evening, Mark. Robert, the Infernal Craftsman. Evening, all. A very cold week of summer coming up with the highs in the 80s and might even have a low below 75. Ooh, that sounds nice. That's very similar to what we're looking at here in Georgia. I was just looking a little bit earlier. As I mentioned, the weather was 79. We're going to have some lows in the low 60s and up into the mid 70s to mid to high 70s during the day. So it is very nice right now. Richard Vogel, good evening, Barry. Before you gave the latest video on Patreon, I paused the video and took my blood pressure medicine. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm glad you did, though. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I'm going to do. Roger, Hindsight 6'7", greetings from next door. Greetings, Raj. David, bowler hat guy. Hello, Barry. Good evening, all. Good evening, sir. Simone, checking in early. Hi, Barry and chat. Hope you are doing okay from a sweaty UK. It just doesn't sound appealing, but I'm glad you're here. Brandon Reisinger, greetings, Barry and all. Greetings, Brandon. Glad you're here. And Robert, thankfully summer is coming to an end. Yes. Simone says, I've been fabbing and welding today. That's awesome. Good to hear. She says hi to Robert. Steve Reed. Hello, Barry and everyone. Everybody needs to give Barry a thumbs up. Yes. Please do. Maureen, you're not alone on the hearing issue. Please share. I don't know what to share. These are from the VA. That's all I can tell you. I went, I've lost plenty of hearing through the military, and I finally I was approved probably years ago to have hearing aids, but it's a learning curve. Whenever you have the hearing loss that I've had, it's hard to describe. Like I can hear lower tones really well, but when it gets higher pitch stuff, it just drops. There's like nothing. Like I don't hear alarm bells on things. I don't hear the parking sensor when we would park somewhere and be too close to something. I don't hear it. Things like that. And from what they explained to me, once you start losing those sounds, your brain just disconnects from them. It just doesn't have any use, for that, any information. And so once you start getting help with hearing, your brain has to re-recognize those sounds and develop into responding to them. So it's really interesting what they're going through, they can do with it, and they can tune each one up and down into those zones that I'm not hearing well. So, and the cool thing is I can put on music. That's always good. I've been out here in the garage all day working, and I didn't have my radio on because I could hear the music in my hearing aids. I'm like, oh, okay, this is good, because then I can use that somewhere else. If I go somewhere and I don't want to hear something, I could just turn on my music and pretend that I'm listening. Rick Gain, hearing aid technology has really improved over the last decade. That's what I'm hearing, so to speak. Robert's commenting to Simone, going to London next month. Michael, Pagliarini, evening all. Hey, farts do make noise. Yeah, I guess. Simone says she's a long way from London. Okay. Terry Keithley, now you'll be able to hear Ohio State beat Michigan and Penn State. Right, Jerry? Yeah. I guess if I were listening to any of that, I might be. Mr. Mikey, still 95 degrees here in South Texas, waiting for sundown to spend some time with the Project Coop. Greetings and well wishes to all. Well, glad you're here, Mr. Mikey. Simone's good news on the hearing bear. Yes, it is. Long overdue. And I'm getting used to them. It's taking some effort. Rick Gaines, somebody posted in a group about restoring a convertible. I shared the re-edit of the Brooklyn Pony. I hope it was helpful for them. Yeah. I'd seen somebody else ask a question about a convertible, and I said, what shape is it in? Or they showed some damage or something, and they said, is this something bad? And I posted that video, and I said, it's hard to tell, but take a look at this. But thank you for sharing that, Rick. C&J Hoyt, hello all, and Barry. What is a good seam sealer for the cars without breaking the bank, and how many tubes do you recommend for doing the coupe? That's a good question. That's a good question. Now, normally when I'm doing a project, I use brushable seam sealer. That's what I typically use for just about anything. I did switch over to some other products. Let me see if I still have the tube. I had saved a couple of these just because they were really good. So one of these I saved is Eastwood's High Solids Seam Sealer in black. Now, this stuff is kind of creamy, like a icing, like a soft icing, and it was. It says paintable, fast curing, non-sagging, paintable in 60 minutes, permanently flexible, withstands weathering, oxidation, salt exposure, gasoline, and most solvents. So this stuff I really like. It does say, like here, it's going to be kind of hard in the tube, obviously, but it can be. I can still flex it. This stuff was just really nice because you could either pile it up and keep a consistent shape, or you could push it into a gap and smooth it over with something, and it just forms really nice. So that's one. The other one is this 3M Fast and Firm Seam Sealer. This is really good. It will. It's a thicker. It's like caulking, let's say, but it's a thicker one. And this one, I think this one, I'd have to look at it to be sure. You may have to look it up. Designed for use on exterior auto body seams which have been properly prepared with primer or paint. So what it's basically saying is you put this on. I think the other one may be, one of these I can go to bare metal, but I don't remember which one. But you're supposed to put primer down first and then put this stuff and then top coat it. Or you can put it on top of paint if you wanted to. But I like these two, probably my favorites. The 3M 08505 is that product. And then the high solid seam sealer from Eastwood. Other than that, what I normally do is use brushable seam sealer because it's like a big, it's a can, like a quart can of, it's just really, it's like icing. It's creamy. So you can take a paintbrush and push into it and just brush it into your gaps. And I like that a lot. Or you can use a gloved finger and scoop it out and just push it in. So those are my choices. Good question. Rusty, I have a question. Are the A-pillars and upper windshield on a 67 and 68 the same? Yes. Yep. So, when you went to 69, they changed. The coupe had a more straight up windshield, I think it was, and this fastback lean back. But the 67 and 8, everything's the same. Like even between a coupe and a fastback, these are the same. So at least that's my understanding. I've never seen any variants of it, so that's what I'm going to say. Steve Reed, is Cobra done? It sure is looking so awesome. Well, it is sort of done. There's some things I'm going to take care of with it. Some things that I need to address, and there's some. I'm waiting on some parts, also, and so I know that there's just not. It's not a priority right now to get it, out the door. But I'm gonna do some other things to it, and I want to get back on this car. So right now, Cobra Jet's, it's okay. There's still some things that I'm gonna have to take care of and address, but for now I'm going to work on this car. Shannon, good evening. Evening, Shannon. Glad you're here. Rusty, I just rewatched the Brooklyn Pony that you reposted. Good timing. Yeah. I'm gonna probably re-edit the other videos and try to put them up too. David, tomorrow is my birthday. Glad to see Fangled back in the picture. Yeah, me too. I'm really happy to be putting hands back on this car. Richard Vogel, Barry, do the hearing aids help your tinnitus? That's a good question. I haven't really paid much attention to the tinnitus. I'm getting used to the sounds coming in now from the hearing aids. So I can't answer that without some time. You don't wear them at night. At night, I usually I can really hear the tinnitus because I don't have any sounds going on. But right now, I can hear the tones. I know they're there, but they're not as noticeable maybe because I'm actually hearing other sounds now. So maybe my brain isn't focused on them as much, or on the tinnitus as much. But good question, Richard. Rick, now you can listen to music in the background while you're making your YouTube videos and nobody will hear it on camera only. Yes. Yeah. And I was trying to do some of that with some earbuds, but this is much better. This is much better than using those earbuds because, for one, whenever I would use, what I've noticed with the hearing aids is, let's say I was playing a game on my phone or something. If I had my earbuds in and the Bluetooth was connected to them, and I turned to the game, it would shut off the radio sounds, the music, and it would make the game sounds. With these, apparently, it separates things. So, like, I can still do other things and have the music playing in the background. So it's made it much more convenient. It's almost like, hey, I have the radio on in the garage and I can do something else and it doesn't interfere. With the earbuds, I couldn't do that. And so this is going to make it much, much better for me. So yeah. And that's a great point. Thank you, Rick. Gerhard. Good evening, Barry and gang. Good evening, sir. Marine, my son, I really enjoyed your edited 66 convertible video. The mechanics of it all teach how to use your mind's eye on projects. Yes. Yeah, and that's, when I make my videos, that's kind of what I try to express what my thought processes, but also I want to show everybody why. Like, you're going to cut this off. Well, you're going to cut this off, but do it in a way that saves this piece or saves that piece. Don't just cut it off and turn your back on it. You may need some of that. And that's kind of how my mind works. I'm like, okay, I've got to undo this puzzle that was built 50 years ago or 60 years ago and understand the process of how they put it together so that when I take it apart, I'm undoing it and I can put it back together, hopefully in the proper sequence. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Simone, I bought seam sealer in a metal tin. Yeah, that's the brushable is probably what that is. Robert, with the price of seam sealer, easily a 1/4 of the cost building a car is a seam sealer. I haven't checked lately, but yeah, everything's going up. Shannon, have you test fit the hood lip trim yet? My repo hood and repo trim didn't work out for me. Not yet. I have not. I've looked at it and I've contemplated it, but I haven't gone down that path just yet. Rick, do you have any information as to whether there's been any progress made on the Brooklyn Pony, or is it just sitting somewhere abandoned? I don't know. I had an update probably a couple years ago that he had put some different wheels on it. That's all I ever heard. So I don't know, and a big part of me just says I don't care. I hate to put it that way, but it's that car's left such a bad taste in my mouth, that whole experience, that I just have to shrug my shoulders and okay, it is what it is. Got to move on. Richard, I finally found a pair of NOS front fenders for my 66 Mustang, and Nice Guy in New Jersey shipped them to me. I spent $2,000 on them. It's the last pieces I needed for my original sheet metal Mustang. Wow, okay. Whew. That's, wow. I haven't checked into any of that stuff, so I don't even know what the pricing is. But I'm glad you found them, and I hope it all works out really well. If everything else is original, why not? Why not? I can see the value in that, especially with these aftermarket fenders that are just, most of them are just debatable as whether they fit at all. George Burns, sprayed my first high build primer today on my 66 project. I'm 9 months and 950 hours in so far. Okay, great. Let me ask you this. If you're logging hours, and I'm not trying to be rude here, are you being honest with yourself? Like, when you say 950 hours, when I do a project, I count my hands on time. Meaning, like here, if I start working on this at 8 o'clock and I work till 10 o'clock, I have a timer I keep on the wall that I start and stop. And so if I work till 10 o'clock to go out and get the mail and get some coffee and something like that, and then come back, I restart my timer when I go back to working on things. And I know that I had this discussion, and again, I'm not picking at anybody's how they do things. I had a discussion with a friend of mine who had a car. He's a builder, but he's more of the final assembly guy. Like, he likes doing that stuff. He had a customer that needed a car built, or like rebuilt. Basically similar, not as extreme as what I did with the Cobra Jet, but had to have a lot of sheet metal redone. They took it all the way to paint, but all they ended up with was a body, right? Just a painted body. And my friend had to go over and hang the doors, hang the sheet metal all on it. He had to put all the suspension under it just to get it from their shop back to his shop. And I'm trying to make a point here. So let's just say, I want you all to take a guess. So let's say you had a, whatever it is, 69 Mustang or a Cougar or something. And you had to have floor pans put in it, or floor pan and quarter panels and, firewall, and basically kind of what I did with the Cobra Jet. And then it gets all finished and painted, and that's it. Nothing else is done besides that. He told me what they charged this place. So just kind of guess at what they charge that customer. Now, we also had the discussion about hours, because he was at that shop, or let's just say he was at that shop, and they have workers there. They have a lot of different workers. Well, those workers on many occasions were just standing around, not doing anything on any car, while he was there talking with somebody. And these guys were just watching or listening or taking a break or whatever for an hour or more. Or if he was there and they saw him they went to the tool truck, they might spend an hour on the tool truck. My point being, is that fair to a customer to say, I'm charging you 8 hours, and your actual time or actual work being done on that car might be 3 or 4 or 5? I'm just, is it fair that they're able to charge people, let's say, a full 8-hour day, when they're not putting 8 hours of time on that car? I mean, it's just, I get a little worked up on it myself, because I know from having the body shop and having, they have logs of, like, you go to a dealership or something to get work done, and they tell you, oh, the brake job is $900 and it's 4.8 hours and this and that and the other. And then you look it up, and the guy can actually do the brake job in an hour, but he gets charged 3.8 or 4.8. Those sort of things. And I get it. It's a business. It's an industry. But to think about that, I have to be, I sit back and go, I want to just charge for my actual hands-on. I'm not charging you for my lunch break. I'm not charging you to take a break or go for a walk. It just isn't how I do things. So, that's just me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Simone, Barry, I'm repairing the bottom of the fender where it bolts to the rocker. I need to rebuild the inner vertical part, and I need to test fit for the gap to the door. Might need filler. I hope it fits. Yeah, that's a fun part to rebuild, that inner structure where it bolts up there. Yeah. The good part is you won't be able to see it, but make sure it's solid and make sure you get it all welded up good. Mel Wade, good evening. Is there anyone in the Atlanta area that straightens and polishes stainless steel trim? Thank you. Good question. And the answer is I don't know. I've never had that done, so I don't know. Um, I'm not even sure who to ask on that. And I know you're asking here, so if anybody else has any input, let us know. Richard says, can you bring us up to speed um, on what you've done on Fangled so far? Yeah, and I'm actually going to talk about that a lot in the upcoming video that I'm making. So I started with the convertible floor pan. I've welded in rocker panels from the 68 coupe. I've modified the spacing for the wheelhouses because those never fit right. So you have to like open up the drop panel, cut it back, and reshape it so that the wheelhouse will fit in correctly. Because the flanges of the wheelhouse are intended to line up with the drop of the corner of the drop panel that goes off the end of the trunk. So I redid all that. Of course, everything's just mocked up in position right now. Nothing is welded or other than the rocker panels and the areas that I addressed. I also refitted the quarters where the quarter matches or attaches to the top of the wheelhouse. I had to redo that because the way it's designed, they there wasn't enough room. There's a plate that goes in there, like a piece of angled. It's a curved piece that's built like angle iron, and when they pre-assemble these, they don't get that in the right spot. So you have to undo that, raise it up, and get it in the right spot. So it's all part of the process. But right now, I'm just verifying things that fit. Like if you'll notice, I have the door on that side. So today I was working on mocking up the door and trying to get things, check the gaps. And I know the gaps aren't going to be right. I already know that because these panels are, unfortunately, these panels don't fit as good as the 69 panels. So there's going to be some finesse, some cutting, some modification that's going to have to happen. But I wanted to get the door on and see where things are. Now, the sides are not welded on yet, but it allows me to see what kind of gaps I'm going to have before I do that welding. I want to make sure things are going to work. As I always say, test fit, test fit, test fit. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. With this project. Bob Shoemaker, late coming on. I'll blame Oklahoma rain. Okay, Bob. That works. Mr. Mikey, that's why I like you, that honest opinion. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Robert, I have a hard time charging for break time or other time not spent on the customers, whatever it is. But that's not how the rest of the world works. I don't feel right padding the bill like a company. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just, yeah, it doesn't feel right. Now, if I was working like when I worked for Delta, I worked for Delta, and my job was a sheet metal mechanic, and my workload was dependent on them, meaning if there was no work in my area for me to do, they didn't want me to go somewhere else and work on other things. They wanted me to stay in my position until something arrived. And it's kind of like there's terms for all these things. Drum buffer rope. There's a whole, you can talk Kaizen and lean and all these different things. But basically, if you have throughput, you maintain throughput. And if you don't have something coming, you wait because you don't want to pull something in that's not ready to go to the next station, kind of thing. So in those kind of jobs, it's up to you just have to wait. You're getting paid to sit there and wait for that job to come. When I'm doing something like this, I'm in control of my time and I'm in control of my breaks. So I just can't say, yeah, I'm going to put you down for 8 hours today when I only worked on your car for 4. Doesn't make sense to me. Rick, WRT hours. There are those that will bill for time. They're just thinking about the work and not actually working. WRT? I'm not sure what WRT means. Yeah, and that's, if I build for time where I was thinking about things, I would have a lot more hours because my mind is always rolling through scenarios. Um, when I go to bed at night, I will plant seeds in my head of what I think I need to be working on or doing, and sleep and think about it. You know, so maybe I should start charging for that. George, I'm retired and I work 6 days a week on the car. The hours are probably low. Every nut, bolt, and piece of sheet metal has been stripped to bare metal and refinished. Okay, I mean that's reasonable. That's reasonable. I just have to. I'm just putting it in perspective, you know, and I won't argue with that at all. If you're doing that, that's fine. I'm just giving my perspective on how a lot of shops charge for things. Simone saying good night. Have a good evening. Thanks for checking in, Simone. Robert saying good night. Oh, there we go. Hugh says, hey, Barry, sorry I'm late, but I'm here. Glad you're here, Hugh. Simone saying good night. And, okay, Rick, with regard to, okay. I have not used WRT in that regard, but that makes sense now. So, thank you for that. So the car that I was talking about, I see nobody guessed on the dollar figure. For the parts for that car that was redone, they charged $92,000. $92,000 to, I guess, put on quarter panels, put in a floor pan, fix up some body work, and paint it. $92,000. And then the other guy had to come, my friend had to go and put the suspension under it. He had to hang the doors, hang the fenders, put the deck lid, all the pieces on the car, just so he could get it on his trailer and take it back to his place to do the final assembly. I don't get it. I don't. I just don't get it. Dalton Davis, hey Joe, I finally got a 69 Mach 1. It's in rough shape, but it is solid. I have noticed modifications to it, such as a Mustang 2 front suspension. Well, that could be good. I don't know. I'm glad you found a car. That's awesome. I hope you follow through and watch my videos and get the information you need maybe to put it back together if it needs help. Dave Tyson, do you charge for looking up parts and ordering? I probably have done that. I would say I probably have done that, yeah. But typically, like a lot of this stuff here, it was a bulk thing, and yeah, I have done some of that. Yes, that makes sense. Because you need parts, you need to get stuff, and it's part of the process. It's like I look at it like this too. If I'm doing work, right, and I stop, and I'm putting tools away, and I'm sweeping the floor, and I'm cleaning up, and I'm getting ready for the next day, that gets charged because that is part of the process. I'm not going to say I didn't put my, I don't count putting tools away. I don't count doing cleanup. That's all part of it, which only makes sense because you're causing that debris or whatever from the process. So that's all part of it. Gerhard, I had to pay taxes a few weeks ago for being late. Not that fair that others don't have to do the same. You had to pay taxes for being late. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Not fair that others don't have to do the same. I don't. Where do you live? Taxes for being late. Rick Ain, 92,000. At that rate, you should be 300,000 into the CJ. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how they're charging that much money. When it's a restoration shop. That's all they do. They have people there that they only do sheet metal. They have people there that only do paint. They have people that only do this and only do that. So it's not like it's me, doing everything. I don't know. It just seems crazy that they could charge that much. And this is a busy shop. They have a lot of people and they have a lot of cars coming and going. So, yeah. Mr. Mikey says, wow, yeah, I agree. Richard, great to have you back in the garage. Please buy some coffee and gobs. I will. I will do that. Appreciate you. George Burns, I really enjoy your older videos. They are a reference for me that I check before starting a task. Okay, good. Dalton, what is your best suggestion to figure out if a chassis or frame for 69 is twisted out of place? Should I measure it based on original blueprints or after jacking it up level? Yes. So here's going to be the dilemma. First of all, do you have a flat floor that you can trust? You can jack the car up and get it level, but is level relative to the floor that you're using? Because what you end up having a problem with, if your floor is tapered at all, you could level the car, and then I would do like drop measurements from the floor to the concrete. It's all good as long as the floor is level, because that can mislead you in that process. Also, if you're using blueprints or drawings, sometimes even those can be misleading because you can have measurements that are off a quarter inch here, a quarter inch there. It may be within limits, but you could have some variations on that. So the hard part is trying to figure out how to get the car in a level environment, square it up, and then figure out how to measure, drop measurements, as we call it. There's no real easy answer to that. I know when we had the body shop, we had a frame machine, and we knew the frame machine was level, and then we could put the car on the frame machine and set it on perches, vertical jacks, to level the car, at least like the pinch welds, with the frame machine. And then we could do drop measurements and find out if it's twisted or out of shape. So it's not an easy thing to do. Just put it that way. But you got to start with some sort of level base platform. That's about all I can offer. Hugh, they're making working on these old cars so expensive because generations of know-how is dying out. If you can't work on your own car, most people can't afford to pay someone else to do it. That's true. Gerhard, you don't remember I came in late one Monday and you told me that I had to pay taxes, so I paid you $10 here on YouTube. Okay. Sorry. I don't remember. But I like the concept. So you got to pay taxes. Anybody who showed up late, you got to pay $10. Apparently that's the policy that I forgot about. I need more coffee. Hold on. So, as I was saying, right now what I'm doing is going back into double check mode on this car. The sequence, because I always say sequence is scored, right? Sequence is I'm going to start punching holes along the quarter panels and the anywhere where I'm going to have to weld it in, and have it all ready to go for that process. Now, currently I have the roof sitting on it with the header panels front and rear, and I want to get everything in position and secure. Then I have to do a thought process on it, thought analysis, because this car will end up with a roll bar in it. So I want to leave the roof off so I can do the roll bar and make sure that it's, gets in the right spot, and I can weld it, top and bottom. This may take a little bit of effort in the thought process because we already have the headliner, which is the one-piece Mustangs to Fear. So what I may end up doing is verifying some heights of that headliner as to how high the roll bar should or could go. Now, you don't want it all the way against the roof. And in an older car, with the old headliner material, you can only go so high anyway. But you don't want to go too high. So the roll bar is pre-bent. I'll just have to calculate out where things need to sit, for the height inside, and then go from there. Hugh, nope, I'm a poor white boy. I'm not paying late fee taxes. Yeah. Maybe it was a late fee. Maybe it wasn't taxes. Maybe it was a late fee. I don't know if I'd call that a tax. Yeah, I think it may be a late fee. That makes more sense. Yeah. Now it's legit. It's a late fee. Shannon, oh, no more taxes is just what we need. My apologies for being late. Okay. But, oh, wait a minute. Gerhard says, you jokingly called it tax, but late fee works for me too. Okay. Well, the government gets their hands in it at some point. I got to show you this because I thought it was really funny. I'm sure you've all seen the news, and you've all seen what's going on with a certain restaurant. So I'm thinking about making a new logo. And I want to show you the logo, and just you can give me your opinion on it. So here's my concept for a new logo. So let me know what you think, because I've got to get with the times and make everybody happy and realize that sometimes something could be out of the norm for everybody. Just a concept. Thomas Reyes. Hi, Barry and everyone. Tom and son from San Diego. What is a good size wheel and tire combo for 70 Ford Mustang Coupe? Not lowered stock height. Thank you for all you do. What is a good size for 70? Well, here's the question. I mean, what are you wanting to put on it? So, like, I have on my 68, I had 17-inch wheels that were 8 inches wide in the front and 9 inches wide in the back, and they were like a 245 or 235 50 17, I think is what they were. And it depends on what you want. Like currently on my Mach 1, it has 15-inch Magnum 500 wheels with 245 60 15s on it. And that just looks nice. It fills up the wheel well. So it probably depends on what you want as far as a wheel size. You going 15, 17, 18. That's a tough question to answer without some other information. Troy says, you need the old man leaning on a Mustang next to the logo, then I'm good with it. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me back up a second. Oh, Ed says no rebranding. Yeah. Where is the barrel? Apparently, the barrel is meant to be the outside shape, like the barrel's laying on its side. I think that was their intent of that. Dave Tyson says no. CJ Hoyt, I'm a carpenter by trade. I built a frame jig using a newer BCI floor joist to set up my datum line. As we know, the floors are poor to the slope for water runoff. You can easily level those. Okay, that's a good idea. Yep. Hugh says, "Poor Barry, they took you and your rocker off the logo. Poor old man." Yeah. Yep. Again, to Troy, you just need an old man leaning on a Mustang next to the logo. Then I'm good with it. Dalton, my headlight housing buckets have some nicks and cracks on it. I know that these are made of old pot metal. What is your best suggestion of product or method to repair them? Thanks. Actually, I'll give you some idea. I did a video actually. Muggy Weld. Okay. There's a product called Muggy Weld. MUGGY Weld. And it is an alloy that you can heat with a torch and kind of braze back into those spots. Okay. Now, this is just one suggestion. I did a repair of a broken tab on one of the headlight buckets using that, and it worked. But apparently there's different alloys, so you got to get the right alloy. And you can fill in cracks, you can fill in chips, a variety of different things. So without seeing it and understanding just how, what the damage may be, that is one option. People have also used, not that I have ever tried it, but like JB Weld to fill in those cracks. I don't know how well that would hold up. I don't know. I can't say yes or no. But I know the Muggy Weld product seems to work pretty well. And there's videos out there. I did a video on it, but there are, YouTube, Muggy has their own videos. So check those out for some information that may help you. That's a good question. Rick Stevenson, don't mess with the logo. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with the logo. I just thought it was funny. Robert says, I'd like a Velcro patch one. Not sure if anybody else would need it for carry on my backpack. There you go. Julian, no to the logo. Yeah. Or your logo, not the other one. Okay. Jerry says, howdy, Barry, howdy, all. From 30,000 feet, wish I could be home talking about cars and Robert being fussy, but got to pay the bills. Okay. Glad you checked in, Jerry. Travis, good evening, all. Just bought a Rainbow Color 68 Mustang. As far as I can tell, it's a one of three in the color powerful purple. Okay. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Travis, one of my top patrons. That's pretty cool. I look forward to seeing updates on that. TJ says that new logo is offensive. Yeah, I know it. Thomas, I have 50x7 front rims and 50x8 rear, no tires yet. Well, I know if you look at the videos of the Cobra Jet, you'll see all four of those are 15x8 245 60 15s. So maybe that'll help you get some perspective. Norris Nut just saying hi. Glad you checked in, Jeff. Bob Shoemaker. What you used in quarter panel seams might fill headlight spots. Oh, you're talking. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That aluminum based filler. Yeah, that might work. Yeah. I don't know where that can is right now. It's probably in my Hang on just a second. Let me go grab it. I see it. Let me grab it. That's a good point. I forgot about this stuff. But this may work as well. This Eastwood Contour aluminum filled compound. That it says excellent for metalworking, flexible, will not sag, superior corrosion resistance and adhesion. But saying flexible, will not sag. When this stuff dries, it gets hard. I will say that. I used it as a final fill on the. Well, I say final fill on the Cobra Jet. I welded strips of metal on the roof seam, and then I filled with that material, and then I came back with my Rage Ultra as a finished top. Thank you, Bob. Doyle, are you changing the background signage too? No, I'm not changing any of that. I'm not changing any of that. Richard, I love your cool find from the family junkyard. Yes. Yeah, that's going to end up on the wall. I'm if I get it, I can get it up there. That's probably where it may end up. I don't know yet. And what I found, I don't know if I have I probably have a picture of it. I'm not going to upload it, but I found a roof from one of my brother's old stock cars, up at the old junkyard. That's no longer there, unfortunately. Thomas, okay, thank you. Yep, you're welcome. TJ, yes, updates on the Rainbow Mustang, Travis. I need to learn more about them. Good score. Yeah. I didn't really realize until I bought the blue 68 Mustang, I don't know, a year or so ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, this one. And somebody had suggested that it could be a Rainbow of Colors car. And I was very curious. And so I looked it up, and it's not. But they had colors like that. And this car was actually Acapulco blue originally. So maybe one day I'll get to work on that one too. It says Iron Man can be part of the new logo. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I probably could do a quick edit and have an outline of that. Let me see here. So Travis, you sent me 2 pictures. Is it okay to use both of them? I didn't look at that first one. Yeah, I guess we can use them both. I see you've blocked that out in numbers. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to pull those up. I'm going to show you this Rainbow of Colors car that Travis has recently purchased. Pulled on this comment, and Delmarine is saying good night, reading with the kiddo. All right, glad you checked in. Travis sent you an email. So here is the Rainbow of Colors car. Yeah, that looks like it's been punched in the nose. We get this other one. Now, I don't know, I'm not able to do anything, but I can show you the VIN tag, or the door tag, I should say, if it'll pull up. The clock is winding on the little thingy, it's running around in circles. There it is. So there's the, now I don't know what code is what. You know, as far as I see, was it colors 2A, I think. So 8R01C, yeah, that's C code car, coupe. Okay, that's pretty cool actually. I like it. I've kept an eye out for those things, but I just, if I see one, I might be interested. I don't know. But I do have something else I'll talk about that uh, sometimes you run into a potential car. And when I was back in Pennsylvania last week, um, or last last weekend, whatever, um, by chance, I talked to somebody um, about a '70 Mustang that was possibly for sale, and I went and looked at it. I took pictures of it. I'm not going to share the pictures. I took pictures of it. And I was kind of surprised because I didn't know much about the '70s. 69 cars I knew more about. But the '70, the guy pulls out the buck tag, and I'm looking at the buck tag, and I'm trying to decipher what's going on with it. There was no engine in it, but it was a Q code car. And I was like, wait a minute, a Q code? I wasn't even sure what a Q code was because I really hadn't heard of it, as far as I got the R code, all these different numbers or letters. So it turns out it was a 1970 Mach 1 Q code 428 non-Ram air car. And I was very close to making a deal on it. We had talked about some numbers. He did have a 428, but it was an older 428, like out of a '66 Thunderbird or something. And I researched that a little, and I was like, that's not the right engine for this car. But I did a Marty report on it, and it's a black on black car. So black body, black interior, black stripes, which is kind of odd. But it is a 428 automatic car, and power steering, power brakes. That's it. Not a drag pack car, nothing extra special, but at least my research said they only made 550 Q code 70 Mustangs, and 270 or something were 4-speed cars, and the rest were automatics. So very limited production. And we kind of came close to making a deal. And then I think because I showed interest in the car, he decided to do a lot more research. And I think he realized there's some potential there if you get the right engine, the right transmission, because he didn't have either, not the right ones. So anyway, he was looking. I think he's looking at probably maybe trying to put it together. But the car was completely painted, and it was slick. It was really nice. The engine bay had the big block shock towers. All the things that identified it as a big block car were there. But we didn't do a handshake and finish the deal. So I'm still in contact with him. I'm going to wait, see, give it some time. Maybe he decides he wants to part ways with it. I don't know. But it was just kind of surprising to think that they're out there. There's still some of these oddball cars are still out there. And who knows? Maybe one day I can make a deal on it or something. But Dave Tyson says no air in black car. Yeah, no air. And here's the weird thing. I got the Marty report. That car was sold on the south side of Atlanta. It was ordered it was built in New Jersey. It was sent to a dealer here in Hapeville, Georgia, which is on the south side of Atlanta. and somehow it ended up in Pennsylvania. Who knows? Who knows? So back to Travis's car. He says the car's rough, and he says the door tag is missing the color code, so special order. Okay. Yeah, I know where there's a pretty pretty solid blue car. Just saying. But yeah, that car didn't have AC. So, but it was a big block, 428 car, no ram air, which I thought was really interesting. So, okay, I'm getting close to closing up here. We've had a good discussion about things tonight. Had some good questions. I do want to thank everybody who's participated. And the plan at this point is to be back here next Monday at 7 o'clock. And we'll see what I can get done on this between now and then, right? More test fitting, more verifying things are going to line up like they should, and then more welding will be coming. So TJ says you better get that car very nice fine Q code while seal the deal ASAP. Well, it's not that easy. You can only seal the deal if somebody else wants to seal the deal. So, all right, that'll be it for tonight. I want to thank you all once again. Keep watching the videos. Keep leaving comments and thumbs up. I will be posting some more stuff very soon, and that'll be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.